Okay.
Hey, welcome to Thoughtseize Interviews, the show where we seize the thoughts of our guests while playing games of Magic the Gathering at the same time. I'm Lucas, that's Cole, and today we're joined by dear friend of the show, Chelsea Jade. Chelsea, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's like getting someone's address and claiming you're going to send them a postcard. You know, it's like that really, really wishful, idealistic thinking.
You did send me a lovely postcard that I did I text you about that? I couldn't read a portion of it.
Yeah, I took great pride in knowing that I was eligible.
Yeah, I'm not academically there yet.
Cole, all about though, you know, there's bad handwriting, they're obscured. It's like it's part of the thing.
Yeah.
Cole,
would I want it to be just for you to figure out.
Jess and I poured over it. Like, I think that she's saying salami here. Okay, Cole, would you like to explain this deck?
All right.
And
so, wait. First of all, are you familiar with Magic the Gathering, Chelsea?
Insofar as 2 days ago, I confronted a group of strangers at a show, and one happened to know a thing or two about it, and they took 10 seconds to give me a rundown.
They sound really cool.
But,
what was the rundown? The 10-second rundown?
It was like, it implied that I knew something about anything to do with it. So
okay.
Nothing had like a. I'm really interested in learning about it though.
My 10-second rundown of the game is you're dueling planeswalkers of the multiverse, and you're casting these spells trying to kill each other. That's the 10-second rundown.
Okay. Yeah. So where I'm getting caught up is casting spells. So how does one cast a spell?
Well, you need
in practical terms?
You need mana, of course.
Obviously.
Obviously, you need mana. The lifeblood of the multiverse.
Oh god! How do you cast spells?
So none of that matters at all, really. But like, we basically every time we design a deck, just that's the difficult part being we have to use cards that somehow relate to who we're interviewing, and it always makes our deck way worse. Like, we have to play bad cards to make it work, and that's kind of the fun of it.
All right.
So Cole, take it away.
I'll do the breakdown. So real quick, this deck we're using a Teamer Murktide shell. It's a tempo deck. The blue-red version of this deck is like pretty much the current dominant deck in the modern meta. But in this deck, we're going to be splashing green for Tarmogoyf, and then for this card right here, the Jade Avenger.
Chelsea Jade. Chelsea Jade Avenger.
Chelsea Jade Avenger. So that was like kind of the inspiration for the deck. But then we've gone a little bit further. Chelsea, you have a song called Night Swimmer. We have a card here, Swimmer in Nightmares. So we're going to be playing one of those.
Wow.
You got a song, Shark Attack. We have iconic card here, Shark Typhoon. You've got a song called Visions. We got a copy here, Serum Visions, another iconic card.
Nice.
You have a song called Secrets. I really wanted to put Delver of Secrets, but you know, since we got green here, we got Toski, Bearer of Secrets. And then for your song Like the Moon, we've got this classic sideboard card, Alpine Moon, because Blood Moon was...
Wait, I have a song called...
Yeah.
Do I have... What's my song called has the moon in it?
Like the Moon.
Like the Moon?
That's...
does
that not exist?
Not me.
That's one of your songs that you wrote and performed.
There, edit that part out.
We're taking this card out of the deck. I'm about
like
to
the
Google
moon.
Chelsea Jade song titles again.
to prove her wrong. You're thinking of Healthy Moon, Cole.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
I'd
good
love
song.
to.
Think of his own song.
True.
I wonder what
I'm
happened.
gonna definitely Google that later, though. I want to hear whatever that is.
Like the Moon is probably great.
Yeah, I really want to know what Like the Moon. There's a Future Islands song called Like the Moon.
Maybe
I'm so highly critical. I'm so critical that I'm like sure this whatever this isn't is not going to be up to my standards.
Yeah, this deck is terrible.
Yeah.
It's unplayable.
No,
I love it. Let's go. Good. Now I'm gonna write a song called the
Moon. Yeah, would you please? That would be so sick. That would be the new theme song for the show. Chelsea, so you're not a planeswalker of the multiverse yet, which is totally fine. That's not a prerequisite of coming on Thoughtseize interviews. But do you game at all? Also not a prerequisite, but we engage in nerd culture here on Thoughtseize interviews, and
yeah. You know, I used to in an earlier stage of life, but I really displayed some ugly behavior, so I had to cut myself off from it.
You're a competitive person.
I used to play Pokemon Red. Yeah, I used to play Pokemon Red on the Game Boy. That's how far back we're going here.
Okay.
And I remember a friend coming over. I was like 9 or 10, and I was so engrossed in this game, and she tried to get my attention, and I like yanked my body away and said, "Look what you made me do." And so, I had to quit cold turkey from that moment.
The parents were concerned after that behavior?
Man, I wonder if my parents even knew that ever happened.
You had the wherewithal as a young person
I've self-policed.
You self-policed? Damn. Respect that.
Yeah.
Cole.
Okay. Chelsea, for those people out there who don't know, including myself, what is New Zealand?
New Zealand is a land at the bottom of the world. It's the land of the long white cloud, as some call it. It's what Aotearoa means in Te Reo Māori. It's the neighbor of Australia and the neighbor to none, also in a sense. It's where I grew up, New Zealand.
That's a beautiful answer to our shitty question that we were both very proud of. Let's get into it. You recently put out an album, Soft Spot.
Mm-hmm.
There is a meme, I feel like, that is sort of loosely associates to this album and your music for me in general. Cole, can you pull up the meme for us? Is it possible? Have you seen this meme before?
I have. I'm flattered to have it associated with me in this moment.
Does it resonate with you? Because like the first song off the record, the title track, the sort of intro song to the record, I'm gonna love you from the soft spot where the fruit begins to rot. Already, it's like there's this line that starts off kind of sweet sounding and then goes to this. I don't want to say. Just the dark house on the left zone, or even let's party like I don't have a part of me to lose. Let's party like you don't want a part of me. These sort of parts of the song where it's got a little bit of an edge to it at the sort of gang vocal happy part of exciting part of the song. Can you talk a little bit about marrying these sort of contrasting elements together?
Yeah. So I mean, I really like instant gratification, and that's pop music has always been very generous in that regard. Yeah. And so I've always had a kind of like a physical interest in pop music, and then I
What does
also
that mean?
just I really
What's a physical interest
I
in
think
pop
that
music?
I guess like I don't think of pop music as cerebral. I think of it as very like what's like I guess just physical from the body. It invokes the body, and that's the value system of it for me, is that it's like it's provocative in that way, but I don't expect it to cerebrally service me at all. But I also really like engaging in the cerebral, and that's like how my mind enjoys functioning. So it just seemed like a nice marriage, you know. And I say that as if I had any intention, and I just kind of like I've just been following my nose the whole time and doing what I think is good. I don't know.
So, because for me, with what am I trying to get at here? These songs have such a sort of they have kind of a dark undercurrent to them. And are you saying that it's that to you you're just sort of following your instinct, and if that's what happens, that's what happens, and the joyousness of the music is just also because you've also talked about your lack of instinct, particularly on this record, how it's been sort of this record was the opposite of the last venture, where you were kind of things happened a little more quickly, and this one was like more of a labor of love. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I think this one, it just felt like I think that when the pandemic began, like the past and the present kind of like separated very dramatically, so it was harder to kind of revisit music that I had started before and understand why it was still relevant to me. But I think that like it was difficult because I want to make sure I respect work, you know, and like respect the work that's been put in, and like follow through and try and make it connect to myself that I am now. Or it just feels like you're constantly running instead of kind of like planting something in the dirt, you know. It's funny. I feel like the observation that it's kind of like darker lyrically. I think I just think that longing is the most common kind of like experience, because our shared logic is so undulating all the time. It doesn't necessarily correspond to like a empathetic logic, you know, which like means that everyone's always longing in a way, you know, and trying to learn in real time how to not be longing. And I think that's where, if I put any concerted thought into what I want to say, it always comes from that place of longing, you know.
Can you talk a little bit about the process of the record? Because I know you got really into sort of planning things out, like the Pomodoro Method, which is something I'd never heard of. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But can you talk a little bit about that?
It's like the pasta, you know.
The pasta method.
So the pasta method.
Where does that name come from?
Is kind of like who understands structure told me about it one time. And it really works. It's like you just set a timer for 20 minutes and working 5 minutes you take a break, and then you're rewarded with a 30-minute break. But like that's like one really incremental method. And then there's like, I would just make like, day sheets like you do for touring, but it would be for just working, and all the paper would be in specific colors so that my mind didn't get bored of seeing it every day, and I'd acknowledge that it was a different set of rules for each day visually. Stuff like that. And I guess I just tried to regiment it a bit, because I think when you're kind of a DIY artist or whatever, no one's really holding you accountable, and no one's also telling you should be doing this.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like self-determination. So like how can you really apply that without kind of like discounting yourself as indulgent or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Cole?
So we watched we prepared a lot for this interview. We watched some other interviews with you. There's one where you mentioned that you grew up with your mom listening a lot to Nick of Time, the Bonnie Raitt record, and like feeling connected to her through that record. And I feel like this is something I think about a lot with like my own experiences. Like if you were to have children, what record would you want to play for them, or like want to have them associate with you?
I think it would be Feist's "Let It Die."
Feast.
It's it's the record that like kind of formed a bridge for me between pop music and like music that was more cerebral. And I think there's just so much about it that I think is kind of like intelligence that has ambiguity about it. It's not like arrogant at all. I think that's what I'd want. What about you guys?
That's a hard question. I didn't. Cole?
I don't know, like
Blood sugar sex magic.
Yeah, Halloween sounds.
Spooky sounds. John Carpenter.
Just like the ghost sounds, haunted house sounds.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Whatever Walking on the Sun by Smash Mouth, whatever album that was on.
Yeah.
Astro Lounge.
Who knows the name of that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Damn.
No, my real answer is I think I got all these like old tapes at an estate sale of just like classic country songs, like like Hank Williams and stuff. I feel like that would be fun.
A compilation. That's smart.
Yeah, like a compilation. Just like share a little bit of lexicon with the.
That's smart.
Oh,
no,
like
that's what I call music. 18.
I think
it counts.
I think mine would be Supertramp's "Breakfast in America."
Oh my god, yeah, I love that album.
That would be my choice.
All right, so next question. Moving on from you, Lucas. So Chelsea, you dance. I've seen you dance on the dance floor at Shiv's wedding, at our mutual friend Shiv's wedding. How important is dancing to you as a form of art and just communication in general?
I mean, I couldn't even tell you why I really like it. I just really like it. I know that I don't do it in any particularly recognizable way in the the lexicon of dance, maybe, but I don't know. I really I guess like I've always done dancing since I was a kid, and it was like when I moved from South Africa to New Zealand, it was like how I socialized. So and it's a very immersive world. So I guess in a way, it's my first brush with real community was the dance world, and so therefore very important.
Cool. Yeah.
Very important.
Very important. Yeah, there's like a big, dance element to like, the videos and live performance. So my follow-up question is, if somebody, not me, but somebody wanted to learn how to dance, how would you teach them to dance?
I've actually I've done this before, and it's not. Yeah, I mean, so sometimes I get to choreograph for other people's music videos, and everyone kind of has their own experience with dance. It's not really it's not like math where everyone has the same foundation or whatever. But it can be fun to like throw out prompts. I guess this is like living a fantasy card game. You're like, okay, now try and escape from these
of the
snakes.
multiverse. I would love
like you can
to
only
see your
use
Planeswalker of the multiverse performance piece. That would be so sick. Holy shit.
There's some dancing magic cards, right? Fuck. Lucas, come on. You gotta know one.
No.
Takes one to know one.
I had it right here, but I forget.
But you were saying prompts. You were saying using prompts is helpful.
Using absurdist prompts, yeah. It's like I guess like the best time to have in dance is the time that you feel like totally uninhibited and not self-serious at all.
So
whatever it takes to get there.
So, I mean, I just want to circle back a little bit to like you've talked a little bit. You've said to me separately, and I've seen you in a couple of your interviews talk about having no musical instinct, which I just would like to push back on first and foremost. But also, like, talk to us about what you mean by that and about your instinct. Does your instinct as a dancer, I just that's not possible to me. So tell me what you mean by that.
I see what you're saying. No, I think I've misspoken. I think that I was being non-specific, but what I really meant is I have no musical education, and everything is kind of like feeling around. But yeah, I guess I just I've never had the patience to become an expert at anything.
Right.
So like maybe that's also why I love pop music so much. It feels very like accessible to make.
Mm-hmm.
And so with parameters, you can kind of dash around inside them with a little more. I don't know. I don't feel intimidated by pop music, I guess.
Yeah. So that's interesting. To me, that's like you're all instinct. You're all just going off your creative intuition as opposed to, well, these chord changes work real nice here and, whatever, it's.
Which I'd love to be able to do that. Like only now do I feel capable of taking on that knowledge,
What changed there was some time spent during pandemic or something.
Yeah, I think there's something about, I don't know what the real, I guess it's like a concoction that's become this recipe for kind of like seeing things a bit differently. But I just feel like my mind is a lot more clear and just hungry for substance.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like maybe it's the mind-body connection thing where you kind of like start to acknowledge why you do what you do and kind of like what else you can do with what you know.
I have a couple more quotes from you that I would like you to speak on, please.
Okay.
You've said that the artist's true north is the second action. Can you talk more about how you've arrived there and how that's affected your process, feeling like the revision is the truth?
It's not the revision to me. To me, it's like the first strike is like, say you've got like a paintbrush filled with paint and a blank canvas, and you just strike the canvas or whatever. That is like an incidental moment that is very beautiful. But then whatever you do around the initial strike is what makes or breaks the image. You know?
That makes more sense.
It takes it from an accident into something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that's all I mean by that is what's your intention after you stumble into an idea, you know?
The best way to listen to something is in motion.
I definitely feel very strongly about that. Because here's what I noticed. I went to a wonderful jazz show the other night, and I really was like, this is so great. But sitting still and facing the same direction for 45 minutes is like, anything beyond that is like playing dead for a predator for me. I'm like, my body is so tense. And I just like would do anything to be moving while I'm listening in any way, walking, whatever.
Yes, it's sad.
Or even driving.
Yeah, jazz in particular is so academic now. It's not as fun as it could be, maybe. I totally agree with that. Driving is my favorite way to listen
walking,
to music.
Walks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And walking.
Does the pop genre push individuality or uniqueness, punish individuality or uniqueness? Does it is that, if yes, is that even a bad thing, and is there too much emphasis culturally on individuality and uniqueness?
I definitely think the self has become like a parody of itself. And I don't think what is originality, you know, and
yeah.
And what God, I don't know. I feel like nuance is always important, and I think like you just have to, I don't know what pop music really is at large. It's so massive that I relate to parts of it and not others, you know. I don't necessarily feel like a part of really anything.
That's my favorite answer. That's my favorite answer of the of all of Thoughtseize. Oh, you got some cues?
I got one more quote response. On your Popheads AMA, Ask Me Anything, you said like about making albums that making the album kind of feels like it happened in a different lifetime. I think your quote was like, I can barely recall the experience and basically accept the recordings as the only evidence that it happened. Somebody unpack that for me. And I feel like Lucas and I can probably both relate to that a bit, but I was wondering, could you unpack that a bit for us? Or like explain to, maybe non-musicians that experience?
Yeah. I just in my case, all of the work happens in such disparate moments that and kind of in some kind of like frenzy that's both extremely slow and extremely fast, that it just doesn't feel like it's almost like it's like a mind game where you have to kind of curb most of yourself to really persevere. And maybe it's just like blacking out. I don't know. Maybe that's what blacking out is making an album. It's just so much work. You can't keep all of that in your mind. It's just too much work.
Totally.
need like a really big mental hard drive to keep
Agreed.
that. I don't know.
So I asked Danny, my wife, who you know, what I should ask you, and she said ask about her style, and I said what about her style, and she said it's cool. So could you answer that question for us?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Ask about his style. Well, Danny, as I'm sure everyone else is interested in this, I do this thing where I buy the same 5 pairs of pants in various sizes, so they have different fits, and then I just wear them until I don't know. I think it's a really nice compliment to be asked. I have no idea what to tell you.
How do you approach like clothes for stage versus clothes for everyday life? Is there a difference?
Oh my God.
Cole just waltzes on stage in whatever, pit stage.
Here's the thing. So for me, stage wear is like what makes me feel like clothes are available to me. So like in everyday life, I wear the same thing every day. Like I've got like 5 things. But when I see something that I think is cool, I get to get the stage, and therefore like I'm allowed to enjoy fashion. You know what I mean? Because it has a utility. So, and yeah, I guess that's the difference for me, is that like it's the opportunity to like be a little bit indulgent in a way.
And somebody told me you can write off clothes as like a tax thing. I don't even know what like writing off is, but whatever. Somebody told me that. Seems cool.
Yeah, I used to like dress my band. We'd all wear the exact same thing. And the first like iteration of that was like khakis and a white turtleneck, so we all looked like kind of like camp counselors. But so I have like a lot of quantities of repeated clothing that is kind of ridiculous.
I wish I did that more.
I don't think I'll ever do it again.
I mean, I do that all the time. So another question regarding trend setting is something something I've been noticing recently. There was like the Arcade Fire SNL performance, and there's the new Jordan Peele movie. I think it's called Nope.
Oh.
They both like feature really prominently in their visual this like visual prop that you used way back in 2016. So my question is, did your video for Lowbrow kick off the air dancer trend? And I guess for people who don't know, air dancers are like the car dealership, like inflatable like things.
Yeah, breezy geezers. I'm solely responsible for the trend.
Absolutely. We heard it here first.
I'm surprised I haven't seen it more, to be honest.
Yeah.
Those things are so loud.
Are they really?
Yeah, I actually I found this artist that I wish I had known about when I made that video. I just look at his name. Paul Chan makes amazing inflatable man artwork.
Paul Chan.
Look him up. Paul Chan. Big ups to Paul.
Cole.
I know. Hold on. They're remanding my Ragavan. I think. Wait, hold on. 1, 2. I just hit the remand result. We're about to kill my opponent, which is unbelievable with this deck.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're about to win a game.
How?
Okay.
What happens then?
We lost the first match.
Okay.
And now we've just taken down Tron in one game. Okay. So like another theme that I notice in a lot of your visuals and, videos and stuff is this kind of like grotesque physicality, like the singing in slow motion with the fan wind like blowing on your face and distorting it, or the digital stretching of the face, or like popping your eyeballs, it's this kind of like grotesque distortion thing. So I guess my question is, would you agree with me that the human body is inherently a grotesque and disgusting thing?
I would. I think everyone should agree, and that should all be. We should all just go from that agreement, frankly.
Like
I agree. I agree too. But I'm sure people have asked you about this before. But can you talk a little bit more about where that comes from? You're always, in almost every video, there's some sort of face stretching or some sort of activity like that going on. Is this? Can you talk about where that comes from a little bit? Sorry.
I just enjoy absurdity,
Okay.
and I think like it's the cheapest way to explore absurdity,
Yeah.
in a way. And I guess like with the only way that absurdity really works is when there's some humanity involved. Like that's the common context. So, yeah. I guess like at some stage the beginning of it was kind of like I don't know. I almost don't want to say it because it's so boring, but like subverting your own standard of beauty for yourself or whatever, it can be difficult as a woman, like in pop music, to like, I don't know, it sounds so lame. It's like to say that. But like, I guess at this point it isn't that way so much anymore, but yeah, it felt like a challenge that was good to overcome, to like feel the need to look pretty or whatever.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucas, you got anything before the final segment?
No, I think we should try and take it away to our beautiful and mean portion of the this is the part everyone hates.
Everybody hates this. But
except the
okay.
fans.
Except the fans. This is our gimmick, our one gimmick, besides the fact that we're playing Magic while interviewing.
Besides the central gimmick of the show.
This is our other gimmick.
Okay.
Okay. So for this segment, we'll pick an artist that we feel like is maybe important to the person we're talking to, or like, we just pick an artist that we want to pick, and then we try to make you guess if the name we're listing is a name of one of their songs or the name of a Magic the Gathering card. And it's surprisingly difficult.
It's really hard.
We're actively trying to trick you, so don't feel like.
What did we do for George? What did we do?
I think we did no, we did
Slayer.
No,
we did
was
Slayer.
Jordan.
Okay.
I forget what we did.
Metallica?
Yeah, maybe Metallica.
Okay. Anyway.
Anyway, the artist that we've selected for you, Chelsea, is Kate Bush, who has a lot of very Magic the Gathering esque titles to her songs. But don't.
And the format of the answer is it's Kate Bush or it's Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Like I'll say the name of the song or card, and then you say Kate Bush or you say Magic the Gathering. That's the game.
Okay.
You ready to go for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. Wait. Shit.
Uh-oh.
The Wi-Fi is bad. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Question number 1. Blow away.
Wait, are we losing connection here?
Maybe. Lucas, what's your guess?
I
Yeah.
can
Have
see,
you
I
said
can see
Have you
the
said
answer.
anything in the last 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, not really.
Wait.
Nothing important. Okay, blow
Uh,
away. That's the first question.
What's your guess?
Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Kate Bush, Never Forever.
I don't know the answer to. I wouldn't know the answer to any of these pretty much, except
You'd
the
know
magic one.
cards, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Second question. Experiment 4.
Ooh, Magic the Gathering.
Kate Bush off of The Whole Story. But here's the tricky part.
Rats.
Experiment 1.
Is it okay? It's another one. Kate Bush.
Experiment 1 is a magic card. Okay, Hammer
This is
Horror.
going great. Magic the Gathering.
How is that not a Magic the Gathering card?
It's not. It's a Kate Bush. It's a Kate Bush song off of Lionhearted, but also
Okay.
like very similar to a bunch of magic cards. All right, next one we have Hammer of Bogarden.
Oh, Magic the Gathering.
That is one of Lucas and my most absolute favorite Magic the Gathering cards. Okay, we've got Misty Rainforest.
Kate Bush.
Magic the Gathering.
Now that I think of it, like Kate Bush, I don't know if she ever traveled, to the tropics.
We've got The Sky Asunder.
Oh, Kate Bush.
Another magic card.
No.
I would have guessed Kate Bush on that one too. That doesn't sound like a magic card to me.
Oh yeah, easily.
The
The Sky is
the
actually.
certainty of my tone, man.
I wasn't even familiar
Tearing
with that
you
card.
asunder.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
There
yeah.
is thunder in our hearts.
That's a really good one though.
All right, we got a couple more. We've got Strange Phenomena.
Kate Bush.
That is Kate Bush from The Kick Inside. Then we've got let's do two more. We got Fog or The Fog.
Magic the Gathering.
It's a trick question. It's both.
That changes everything. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, it was like sticking my hand into a hole and not wanting to get bitten by a snake, That's my biggest risk of today playing this game.
I know this game is torture.
It's mean.
It's mean. It's straight up mean.
Full game.
Okay, and then one last segment I wanted to do is I just wanted to convey a couple things that were in your YouTube comments that you maybe should be aware of. So in your Laugh It Off video,
Okay.
somebody said Ariana Haddis 3 years ago said, "I was so scared I didn't want the car window to close and catch her hair, but otherwise the song was amazing."
Well, I haven't read that one. Thank you. That's
I-
very considerate.
It's really sweet.
That is nice. Yeah. Yeah. And very possible for that to have occurred, We're just,
Did
it was
it occur?
it was a 2-lane tunnel, obviously going in opposite directions. Was it going in opposite direction? It was like just in the middle of the night driving 2 cars side by side. Safest thing to do.
Nope.
In many respects. But it looked great.
And then another one is on your video for Lowbrow, Super X Star commented 5 years ago, "Hello, I'm George Ruiz, the CEO of superxstar.com, a worldwide online music video contest. You caught my attention with your amazing talent, and I want to invite you to submit your video to our contest. Thanks." So just heads up.
Do you think it's still
the
open?
offer's still on the table.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm actually just gonna write that down.
Okay.
SuperXstar.com.
Yeah.
Big opportunity.
XTAR, and it's George
Okay. Cool.
Ruiz. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Ruiz. Okay. Nice. Thank you.
All right, Luke. You got anything else?
No. Well, we had one more comment here. One more.
I think it was on the back.
Oh. It was. Was it?
Oh. I really liked this one from Marina 5 years ago. Hey, Chelsea. The concrete. Oh, this is on the Life of the Party video. Hey, Chelsea. The concrete. The colors. The moves. The vestuary. Which I think they mean clothing.
Okay. What is it? Marina Brito or something like that?
No last name given.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. I appreciate the comment.
Yeah, some really good ones.
Some great stuff there. Yeah.
We've had a really rough time with our shitty Magic the Gathering deck. We haven't won all that much.
We did. We've won half of our matches.
Oh, I thought it looked like you were doing a whole lot of losing, but I wasn't.
Well, I'm about to lose. I'm about to just concede the match right here because I'm honestly I don't really like playing this deck. I'm bored of it.
But thank you so much for coming on our Magic the Gathering show. You are an honorary planeswalker of the multiverse. I would love some time to do some planeswalker prompted movements.
Yeah, and then I go to write a song called what? Into the Moon.
Oh yeah. What was it?
Into the moon. All right, wait, hold on.
What was it?
Hold on,
I thought it was like the moon.
Oh yeah, it was let's see.
Like the moon.
Hold on.
I also didn't write Shark Attack. Shark Attack is a cover by Split Ends.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Cool. All right,
unbelievable.
Yeah, like the moon.
Real Nardwar-esque operation we've got going here.
I'm just gonna hold on one second. I'm just gonna check my source. Here's my source right here. Let's just see. Chelsea Jade songs. Let's see. Right here. Like the moon.
That's what?
That's Haja. I don't know what that is. Haja. Also, anniversary day, not mine. Yeah, please.
Oh, this is somebody else. The Adults.
Oh, yeah, I'm on this album.
Oh, okay. So in honor of them,
I wrote a song that.
All right,
it all makes sense
solved.
now. It's permissible, absolutely.
But the card we added for it, this card right here, Alpine Moon, we didn't end up playing it, so it didn't matter.
No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul.
Thank you, cool. Chelsea.
Thank you so much, Chelsea.
Thank you. So nice to see you both, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Likewise. Thank you.
Say hi to Danny for me, please, and Jess.
I will. Thank you.
Play us out, Coley.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we are out.